Hi there, guys. So I wasn't even really seriously going to address the Tyler Perry thing because honestly and truly, um, I think most of the women all over social media, like they already tearing it up. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I didn't really think I had anything else to share, any other kind of perspective or whatever to come from, but I do. And I want to come from another perspective on this Tyler Perry issue. Now, first of all, Tyler Perry, in so many words, is not really saying anything different from what Kevin Samuel said. He's not saying anything more than, um, even though I didn't watch their content, I'm pretty sure what Fresh and Fit probably said that women probably need a man because I'm pretty. That's pretty much what they all spew. The manosphere, all of these men who think shaming women or whatever is going to bring them back or whatever. Um, but it's the same agenda. You know what I'm saying? It's the same rhetoric. It's the same thing that they think is going to get women to come back. And the reason that they think that is because they all have been indoctrinated into thinking and seeing and remembering their moms, aunties, grandmas, great grandmas, and all that. And they saw the need that women had, the dependency that women had on men. I just finished the video just now, and I've said it before on this channel about how our grandmothers and foremothers were dependent on men. And, I really think because of the benefit of that and everything, I think it has put something in these men that has kind of eroded in their mind that they can't get out of. They can't come back from that because literally it's all that they have. And the thing is that they don't realize that women really aren't there anymore. Like women, for real, women are not where the grandmas and moms and aunties and all of that was. You know what I'm saying? Like women are gone past that and it's not a bluff. And I think that's the other thing. A lot of men still think that it's a bluff, that women trying to just play a game or whatever. And she'll be all right. She'll come back. I don't think they realize how far gone women really are and that they're not coming back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it may still be a little bit of sliver of hope out there that, maybe if some of them start acting right or whatever, but, I think the damage has been done so much that, and I'm not, okay, the damage has been done so much that women don't want anymore, period, to deal with certain kinds of men. And so that just is what it is. That's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? I still don't think men see and understand the damage that they're continually doing to themselves online. Like every time they literally get on social media, especially black men, because they're the ones that's doing it. When they get on social media and spew these things, we all know they pretty much are talking about black women and talking to black women, trying to shame them in front of the world, and they're talking to black women. But what they don't get is that all women see this, and they can say all day long that you know this is black women and we don't want them and we're gonna date white, we're gonna date Arab, we're gonna date Hispanic. All those other women are out there listening and taking note and saying, Well, if he don't respect his own women, if he calling them bitches and hoes, if he leaving them with babies and everything, like, how is that gonna fare for me? And I think one of the problems is kind of something I want to touch on, but I think one of the problems is that men, again, don't realize that they can't gaslight women anymore. A lot of the competition between women is not really out there anymore like that, especially for them. You see what I'm saying? And so they're still using these old strategies to try to get through to women, and it's just not working. It's making their case, it's just making it a lot harder for them. Um, but I think one of the things before I really get into what I wanted to talk about, I think one of the things that these men don't realize is that a real, true, strong woman with integrity and with a love for herself is not going to be the type of woman that is going to even fight other women for you. Like, she's not going to be that kind of woman who dogs out and, you know, flips out on other women for a man anymore. And like I say, I think they maybe have seen that so much or heard about that so much in their lives until, and I mean men, that they think that all women are like that. And that's not true. There's a lot of women, and I am one of them. There are a lot of women who literally get disgusted by men who cheat on other women. There are women who literally get disgusted by a man who would F over a woman. That's just really the truth of the matter. Now, that ain't even to still say that it's not a whole lot of women who won't still be out here fighting over men. That's not to say that there ain't a whole bunch of women out here who will completely dog another woman for another man. Like, it's out there. They still doing it every day. Um, it's sad and pathetic. And you got old ones and young ones. You know what I'm saying? So you can't even say, "Oh, well, they young or whatever," because I know there's old ones too. I just leave it at that. There's old ones too who will literally be out here trying to fight over a no good nigga who cheating on them right now. But what I wanted to bring out is, like I said, I really believe that these men, I remember being young, and this probably spread all the way to this probably has spread all the way through Black culture, even through the 90s and all of that. But, my generation, I remember being a little girl and, we lived in these apartments and people would be outside and somebody would be playing some kind of loud music or something. Matter of fact, the loud music came from, there was a little store, like literally as soon as we go out of our apartments, there was a little store right there across the street. And the apartments were it's a very small little complex. It was actually made like a U. You go in, go around, and right back out. And that literally was the little apartment complex. And so, but anyway, most of the music would be coming from that little store. They had a big old jukebox, and you could hear the music and everything. And other people would be playing music sometime, and people be out barbecuing and playing cards, playing dominoes, little boys and stuff playing marbles. Uh, a lot of times we would be outside playing rope or tag or hide and go seek or um, just doing something fun. People out there riding their bicycles, you playing with your dolls, with your with your little girlfriend or whatever. And, it was just a different time. And the kind of songs that will be being played, like I say, this is, I think, a lot of the mentality of how a lot of the men in our culture got the way that they got. You know what I'm saying? That women fighting over each other, and you know, men know that if they're a hard worker or whatever, the other women are going to want them, and especially a single woman, a single uh, woman, maybe with a kid or a baby mama or whatever. Even though they wouldn't call it that back then, but he knew that he could, you know, get with her, date her, whatever. He got a pocket full of money, get the kids money for ice cream and all that. And she'll be there. She'll stay. And she'll put up with a lot of stuff because once again, she probably was getting some little small welfare check or something like that, or some food stamps or something, but not like extra money that a man is going to help bring with his money, even though he married and got a whole family. But yeah, and that once again will cause her to stay, cause her to be there. I remember songs like I'm Catching Hell, Natalie Cole. That song, I'm Catching Hell, is a song literally about her and her man in a bad relationship, a bad situation. And because of how things were going, because of the arguments and the fights and the accusations and all that kind of stuff, she decided literally to put him out. She didn't want to deal with it anymore. She done, she gone, she whatever. Dude gone, he left. And she started thinking about things like taking out the trash, fixing things around the house. This is what she said in the song. Um, how you don't think about those little small things when you're thinking about the arguments and all of that kind of stuff. You don't think about having his presence in the house and, probably missing his money too. I've been probably missing the sex too. Um, when he's gone. And her mindset is literally, I'm catching hell, living here alone. And basically, she's sorry. And she didn't mean it. And wish that he would come back and and the problem with that is that literally at the end of the day she ain't dealing with nothing but loneliness, and she's dealing with nothing but just missing him being there in his presence and maybe him bringing her money and stuff like that, not realizing that she still deserves better as a woman and don't have to sit there and put up with a bad relationship, maybe even an abusive relationship, just to have somebody in the house, just to have somebody go take out the trash and all that kind of stuff. I mean, you know, a lot of times it has to do with you prioritizing what's important. Pay a kid around the apartments to take the trash out if you don't like to take the trash out. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that you could do to live and have a better life beside living and dealing with a man and living with a bad relationship. Because at the end of the day, with that song, the thing that's going to happen, he gonna come right back. No therapy, no counseling, and back in, no church. He probably still don't want to go to church. And what's going to happen is that he just gonna bring them same problems back to you, and maybe even a disease, because you don't know what he been doing out there while he was gone and while you was catching hell. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men like to come back and try to like really grind it into a little bit more. I know my ex, my daughter's father, shall I say? It was my daughter's father. Um, and I did marry him as well, but I got out of there in 9 months. I really did. It wasn't for me. So I got out of that. But he I would break up with this guy, and for whatever reason I would go back or whatever. I think I know why I was going back. But and it wasn't no sex or nothing like that. But I went I would literally invite him back. And he would literally, that first date, within them first hours, I would be crying again. Because the dude is pouring on the gaslighting, pouring on the guilt, making me feel literally like shit, and just the mental abuse of you putting me out the first time, or you letting me go, or you said this and you da da da. And it was torturous. It was literally torturous having him back, to where within hours I'm regretting the fact that what the hell was I thinking? You know what I'm saying? So that a lot of times is how the I'm catching hell theme really works. Now, I want to talk next about the after the pain narrative. The song "After the Pain," I think that was Shirley. What's her name? Shirley Brown. Let me see, because I wrote it down a little bit. After the Pain was Betty Wright. So Betty Wright, mm, "After the Pain," that song was literally about a dude treating her like shit. Like, dude literally just mistreating her, more than likely cheating on her, taking advantage of her, and she just taking it and taking it and taking it. And I know somewhere in the song she was saying something about God gonna bless me for loving you, for all the times you treated me wrong and I kept being true. And talking about how God was watching, and God gonna get you if you don't treat me right, you know. And I want to say, do you really think that dude worried about what God gonna say? But that he dogging you. I mean, 'cause he know he dogging you out. You stand there. You keep taking the abuse, taking the crumbs. See, and that's again where I'm saying, in a lot of these relationships, that some of these men and boys grew up seeing. They saw stuff like "After the Pain." They saw stuff like him literally treating her like shit, being able to cheat, being able to have other families, all of that. Because when you start thinking about it, a lot of these dudes, a lot of things that they say and bring up, especially when you start talking about them paying all the bills, or they talk about paying all the bills, many times, especially in these days, you finna hear something about cheating, or you're gonna hear something about them having the right to cheat because I'm paying all the bills. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a real messed up mindset that they have gotten from the things that they saw, these toxic relationships from their grandmas and aunties and mamas and daddies, um, struggle love, and you know what I'm saying, and just being able to keep coming back, treat her like shit, and just keep coming back. Give us some money, give us some money. That used to be a thing back in the day. And I really think a lot of these men, that's why they keep talking about they money, and they 7 figures, which half of them ain't making anyway. But they're, just feeling like they can just throw some money at 'em. Just give us some money. Go buy yourself a pretty dress back in the day. Go buy yourself something nice. And they saw this stuff, and it helped mold them on how they think about women. If you just give her a little something, tell her she pretty, whatever, she'll be all right. And once again, what they don't realize is that women are not in those type of dependent states to where they have to deal with that anymore. What's her name? Betty Wright. If she was in, I know she was an entertainer, but if Betty Wright was in that type of a situation of that type of whatever, she was not happy. She was not happy being cheated on and still staying there, and where he paying the bills and he give me money and my children eating, and they still got their daddy, and she was not happy. She wasn't happy doing that. He was, I'm sure. He got two houses where he can go get big old nice good plates of food from, and sex. The last one I wanted to talk about was Barbara and Shirley. Y'all know I couldn't sleep on Barbara and Shirley. Everybody know Barbara and Shirley. Woman to woman. If you were in my shoes, wouldn't you have done the same thing too? He is my man. I pay his car note. He eat out of my kitchen. The clothes on his back, I buy. Literally, woman to woman was a kept man. Now, back in them days, I mean, I don't know. Back in them days, he might have worked. He might have worked, you know. But the real story behind that was that this was a whole, it was actually very brilliant. This was actually a whole series of songs. And the song started with a guy back in the day, Richard Dimples Fields. Had a nice set of dimples. And this guy made a few songs. He had a very popular song called She's Got Papers. And literally, what She's Got Papers was about was the fact that he was a married man. So the papers he got was the marriage papers. The papers that the woman had on him were marriage papers. Um, and literally, his woman was it. I don't know who his woman. I don't know if his woman was Barbara. I think his woman was Barbara. And they she heard him in the bathroom. He's supposed to be getting ready to go to work. She hears him in the bathroom on the phone talking to Shirley, who he was cheating with, um, about how literally he don't want her, he don't want to be there, and but he can't do nothing because she got papers on me. That was the song. So then, I don't know who made the song next, but I think Barbara, the wife, got the number. I don't know if it was star 69 back then or she found a paper in his pocket or something like that. Seemed like that might have been what it was, but either way, she got Shirley's phone number. And so she called Shirley, like I just said. And the story goes that she's literally telling Shirley, the man you in love with is my man. You know what I'm saying? He's mine. Um, and literally, I need you to be a woman and leave my man alone because he mine. You know what I'm saying? Really just some bullshit and really just some stuff that make men feel good about themselves. Oh, they fighting over me. Um, Now, if I'm not mistaken, because this is many years ago, and like I say, this was like a whole series of songs in this little thing that happened, and I think Shirley wrote a song back to Barbara, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna have to go look that up on YouTube. But at the end of the day, I brought that out because I thought it was, as I'm sitting here thinking, I thought about them three songs, and I just thought about the mindset of some of these women and how that was an anthem of growing up a lot of times with us kids. Like we heard that stuff growing up. You know what I'm saying? And how I really truly believe that a lot of that got ingrained in a lot of men. And then when you put all of that into, once again, what Cynthia G coins a male male worshiping society, or a black male worshiping culture, you put all of that together, then yeah, they gonna fight over him. They trying to, he the one that get the big piece of chicken. That was the dude that that fought over, that the women fought over, and he, just because he came home, and gave her a little money, and half the time dude wasn't even necessarily having to work. He might have got some money gambling, or got some money playing cards or something like that. Dude ain't really had no money like that, but because she ain't have a lot of money, whatever he gave her was good. Or he might have just brought some groceries over there or something like that. And this was valuable to them because, once again, a lot of these women were struggling. It wasn't necessarily like, back in, like I'll say, like my mama day, where, well, not even really my mama day, because my mama worked 6 days a week to get a maid. So she worked every day, but of course she still struggled because she didn't have a whole lot, and there were four of us. So but still, I said it in other videos, there was no man ever living in our house. And I'm thankful for that now. I really am so grateful for that now. Um, but dude didn't necessarily have to have no full-time job. I mean, he could have just, wherever he get money, bring it back to her. She finna cook up some food and whatever. And, a lot of times dude just brought groceries or whatever. Um, but it was valuable to these women because, once again, the point that I was going to make is that it's not like now. Black women are CEOs, black women graduating college at a astronomical rate. um Black women got good jobs. Like, black women are out here owning companies. But I mean, like, it's still not like it was when I was growing up with the welfare moms, and a lot of the women staying home and raising the kids, or living off of welfare and food stamps and things like that. And, like, even with my mom, even though my mom, we still had to get food stamps, but she was still working every day. My mom worked 6 days a week. And because she was getting so little, though, um, she still had to get food stamps. She still had to be on Medicaid because we just didn't really have it. I remember my mom, stuff would, and this is not me. I did not mean to go talking about me, about my mom's situation, but my mom would a lot of times have to get food on credit from the grocery store. I remember being sent to the store, mostly my brothers because they were older, but sometimes I go to the store with them. But she'd have a grocery list, and we'd be sent to the grocery store, and we get these few little things just to tide her over, either till she got paid or till she got her food stamps. And the guy was nice enough. I remember he was a Chinese guy. It was a whole Chinese family. His name was Bobby. That was the name of the store, the supermarket. It was called Bobby Supermarket. And he had a white. He had his wife was named Helen. They had two little kids, and it was like kind of like a big Chinese type store or whatever. It was a regular supermarket, but they were Chinese. Had a black woman working over there at the cigarette counter, the customer service counter, or whatever. And at the end of the day, that's how we ate. A lot of times, that's how we ate. We didn't go hungry or anything like that, and it was definitely a struggle. But like I say, I'm very happy that my mom didn't choose to sit and struggle with a man, or have a man in the house, or anything like that, where things, I don't know, could have been a lot worse. I don't know, you know. Um, but anyway, this was the mindset These three songs was a lot of the mindset of women back in the day, and what we kind of saw growing up, and at the end of the day, though, still it was because women needed more help. That was during the time also where these men talking about welfare took them out the home. That was this was all that during that time. And I said it in another video before too. I didn't see a whole lots and lots of men just out of the home uh back when I was growing up. Those men were still there in the house, whether they was married to the women or not. They were still there in the house. And maybe they left when the welfare lady came. I don't know, because back then, the welfare lady would come to your house and with her little notepad and everything, and yeah, she looking at little items and trying to see, oh, how much did this cost? And oh, you got a such and such, and they did those kind of things. They did that kind of check. Yeah, they was looking for men. They wanted to go all through your house and look through stuff, and oh my God, that had to be so intrusive. That had to be so intrusive. That had to be so humiliating for a full grown woman to have another woman come into her house and go all through her things and look through her stuff. And, you know, basically, I mean, that had to be humiliating. But because you need it and because it's going to help you feed your kids and everything, you kind of got to go through it. You kind of got to do it. But it was a lot of men out there just hanging out, just on the corners, just whatever. These men wasn't kicked out no damn home. The men came right back in the house at the end of the day, or when that woman, or when the welfare lady left, or just whatever. Like it's really, I'm not finna get into the history of all that. Y'all can look up that whole welfare out the home, man out the home welfare crap if you want. It was only in a few states, and it was only for 4 years. So, that is not what kicked them out of the home. And at the same time, if that is what kicked them out the home, what's stopping them from being in the home now? They're still out here making baby mamas. Ain't nobody telling them that they can't be in the home. But yet black men are the number one men who are not in the home. Why? You can't blame welfare back in the 70s. You would half of them, y'all wasn't even born. You got men in these young men out here talking about welfare out the home. You wasn't even born yet. What are you talking about? Where did you get that from? It's so silly, and what's even more silly about it is once again, y'all say this stuff and y'all spew this rhetoric and don't realize that the world is looking at you. The world is looking at you bringing up a 1970 something excuse, and here you are in your 20s and your 30s. What the hell kind of sense does that make? That stuff been gone and dead for so long. You know how many times welfare has been reformed? It don't look good. It don't look good at all, But I said all that to say, Tyler Perry, uh, black women in 2023 are not going to deal with some man who just out here paying the light bill. The daddies and the uncles and the grandpas and all that did way more than that. They did way more than that. And it's shameful for men like Tyler Perry and these other manosphere men and everything basically out here telling black women that they need to settle literally for whatever they can get because you ain't shit. That's the gaslighting that, see, I think I said before, I don't know if I put that video up, but I think I made a video, and in the video I was talking about how it seems that black women collectively are in one big toxic relationship with black men. It's just like it's a collective type of a toxic relationship that all of these black men have the same ideology, and they want to put all of us, they want to put that relationship or put us in that relationship just as a whole. Like, this is what y'all do, this is what y'all put up with. Meanwhile, they're not telling Maria, they're not telling Chin Lee, they're not telling Maria, they're not telling Kathy or whatever. They're not telling those women to put up with my bullshit. They're not telling those women that. They're not telling them women to let them come there and live in their house and pay a light bill. They're not doing that. But they telling black women that because that's been the tradition of black women. That's been the dynamic of the black male female relationship. That's what it's been. And now today, black women aren't going for that. They're tired. They. It's exhausting even watching our foremothers put up with that bullshit. Women don't want to do that anymore. And once again, I don't think men are getting it. And then getting advice from these men who are toxic and don't know a damn thing about women or how to keep no woman, and especially a gay man. A lot of it, I really truly believe, I really truly believe, a lot of this is one big old agenda. And I think it has a lot to do with the LGBT community and that whole agenda thing. And I'm not saying anything or being what would you call, I'm not trying to be discriminatory about LGBT lifestyle or those who are in it, because if you're in it and that's what you do you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But what I'm saying is, it seems to me a lot of this stuff with turning men away from, oh, just leave these broads alone. Just leave all of them alone. Just don't have nothing to do with. Okay, and my thing is, when you do that, when you're telling straight heterosexual men to just leave women alone, what are you telling them their option is? Because most heterosexual men have a strong sex drive. Not that gay ones don't. I'm just saying. So if they ain't having sex with a woman, if you're telling them collectively to just leave women alone, and yet you keep having these gay men and these gay down low men giving them horrible advice about women. I don't even know why straight men would be listening to gay men, but that's a thing out here today. But like, I don't understand how they think that's gonna work out for them, and how that advice from a gay man is gonna benefit them in their heterosexual relationship with a woman. Like, literally make this make sense. It's not making any sense to me. And so when you tell these men to just leave all women alone, leave these broads alone, whatever, it's like, what are you telling them, to be with men? Because that's kind of what I hear. We already know Kevin Samuel said that he advocates for men being with other men. We already know the fresh and fit guy was caught in the bed with white men. Like, we know this stuff. And then he said some gay shit. I don't remember exactly what he said because I don't watch it. But he said, oh, he was saying something about why gay relationships are successful, or why the gay men are have so much money, or so. It was something like that. But usually, and I'm not trying to be discriminatory at all, period. But usually, straight heterosexual men don't get their advice from gay men or undercover men or down low men or whatever you want to call. They just don't. Like, I don't know whether the tide has turned to where this is a thing now. I don't know. Now, women, I don't even think women should, honestly, but women, I could see, have been um more quicker to try to get some advice from a gay man. But a straight man, like, that's new, for real. That's new. That is really, really new. And y'all can say what y'all want about Tyler Perry, whether he got a girlfriend or whatever. I don't know really nothing too much about his life, but all I know is what I see. And he don't look all that straight to me. I'm just saying. So you guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Hit all notifications so that you'll know when I upload new videos. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until the next video, we'll see you next time.